Family, wholeness and balance, one love, what's up? Just Tree here. Hope you're having a beautiful day. Having a beautiful day. I was hoping to show you around some wild edibles in the garden today, but it's extremely blustery out there and windy. I'm gonna turn down my music a little bit here. Jamming out to some Akea Becca. Welcome everyone. We'll wait for everybody to come in. Blessings, Kitten Monk. What's up, sister? Welcome to Juicing with Jesse, where we talk about prana, juicing, permaculture. I really see this to be the way towards our liberation and freedom. And I'm gonna devote my body, speech, and mind completely to that end. So I'm here to serve you all. Anything I can do, to help, I want to be of service. So right now, I'm just going to make a juice. I've been, of course, continuing my study with the Juice Guru Institute. I already finished the certification, but there's different levels of mastery, and it's been a really great program. I highly suggest it if you're interested in, juice coaching and just, or even just juicing. It's very informative. We've had, like, the last two lectures have been Professor Spira, we've had Dr. Gabriel Cousins, we've had, Joe Furman. There's all these really great people in the vegan community who are super knowledgeable. And I also have been really tapped in recently to Yaki Awakened. He is fantastic because he's kind of like amalgamating his experience, his inspiration from coming across Dr. Sebi, studying herbology, and then also in medicalism. He's a doctor, and he has a clinic. And he's corroborating all these things that we're talking about in the Juice Guru Institute, and also have been bearing true and to me as I continue forth in liquiditarianism. So those of you who are familiar with my journey, I've been liquiditarian for 7, almost 8 years, almost 5 years now, dry fasting 23 hours a day and juicing for an hour. This is part of the progression towards breatharianism, which is essentially the highest state and embodiment of our consciousness and soul and spirit and health, in my mind, and many others. And we're seeing this bear out more and more as people understand the science of fasting more deeply, and that disease is really this accumulation, amalgamation of all the residual toxins from all the foods we eat and pharmaceuticals we've taken and all of this stuff. So the process of enlightenment and of the reclamation of our sovereignty is cellular detoxification in my mind, because how are we to embody the highest consciousness needed to be able to make the transmutation on the planet if we don't do the work? Hey, there's Nabiha. One love, sister. Welcome. You're welcome to join if you want, sister. I don't know what you got going today. I know you've done some lives already with Ellie Tom and stuff, but I invite you as always. And anyone who wants to jump on here with me and just ask questions or whatever, I invite you. So, anyway, getting down to the nuts and bolts of what Yaki Awaken has said, what's coming through Juice Guru Institute, which also aligns with my experience. I've been doing more coaching, people approaching me with issues around demineralization and their teeth, and I really see this transition to breatharianism. You want to think of transition dieting. You want to think of food as a means towards breatharianism to gently move your body and to more refined, rarefied forms of energy and ultimately prana. So what's bearing out is, and I've been saying this forever as an herbalist, herbs have medicinal benefit because they have toxins. They're defined by their toxicology, and that's also partly what's attributed to their medicinal benefits. And Yaki was talking about this. When we're not herbivores, We don't chew the cud. We don't have four stomachs. We're not these enormous herbivores. We're more biologically akin to frugivores, and that he's had the most success healing people with fruit. And he healed his own diabetes with fruit juice, which is supposed to be like the big no-no. But he did accumulate some fatty liver conditions, and this can happen with high concentrated sugar. I feel safe in doing it all because I'm doing 23 hours of dry fasting, and that allows all the glycation to be mopped up out of my blood. But even still, what I find is that, and this is what Yaki is communicating, these herbs are detoxifying because their toxic nature opens up on our bodies the natural detoxification pathways. And so he suggests, and Juice Guru Institute, and I'm relying on this more, juice your vegetables to get that detoxification, and then eat your fruits. I'm still trying to do just 100% liquid. I honestly like 90-95% liquid, because every day I have like some seaweed and salad. Not much, but enough to just have a bit. And that's some of the wisdom that has come through too, is throws back to Dr. Arnold Barrett and others, of like the way people get in trouble with this is fasting too hard, too fast, and liberating the toxicity in their bodies and having it recirculate in their bloodstream and being poisoned. So if you juice and then you do a green smoothie or a salad or something, that fiber will help. The juice will keep detoxify and release, cleanse the liver, release heavy metals, etc. And then the fiber in the green smoothie or a salad can be what helps pull and eliminate it out of the body. So I see Wayne Believer Higher Color says, I have breast cancer. Rather want to avail myself. Medbed, Jason Shirka, Sydney. Unfortunately, it's expensive. There's been a lot of disease reversal with the Hippocrates Institute and cancer, and I'm going to talk a little bit that with my juices today. Hey there, Self Mastery Solomon. Hi, Rob Jules. Nabiha's about to pop on. I'm going to let her in, but I want to finish this this tangent before we go into our whole shtick here, because Nabiha just making some juice, talking about detoxification and cellular liberation.
Oh my goodness, I'm still trying to find a spot.
Well, no hurry. I'm sorry.
How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing, sister? Great to see you.
Good to see you too. I'm holding my phone with one hand, and then I'm trying to put this one in the charger. So let's see what I can do.
Well, let me finish this point, and you can do whatever with the phone.
Okay, I'll let you finish your point.
So the thought about the detoxification with mineral-rich detoxifying green juices, and then using fruit bodies, because there's just something called the glucobiome that informs the microbiome, and so these, I think, are key things to develop and nurture to be able to even move to the chronic state. So anyway, I'm just going to chop up and talk about it, and we can keep talking to Bia. But I got here cilantro and parsley. I got a bunch of celery, and I have to do this because I have to get ready for work tomorrow. I have a bunch of sprouts. So with the lady who was talking about cancer, at the Hippocrates Institute, they've done a lot of this disease reversal with wheatgrass, sprouts, and green veggies, and then lots of fruits, but more of the fruits that you would consider to be vegetables, like zucchini and tomato and olives and avocados, and then doing fruit more sparingly, especially in the case of cancer. Otherwise, it might not be a big problem. Here comes Jerome too. So
Jerome is joining us.
Just wanted to make that point, and then we can just kind of go off like we normally do in sort of freeform style. But hey, Jerome, welcome, brother.
Hello.
You're back. Welcome back. Jerome just went. Do you have Can you hear me, Jerome?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. You just went on a big adventure, yeah?
Yeah, we just got back.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
How was
Okay, can you guys
it?
see me?
We
How was
just
it?
got back. It was awesome. It was awesome. Really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed our time. Yeah.
Beautiful. It looked beautiful. I've never been on a cruise ship.
Never.
Looked interesting. Oh
Wow.
no,
It's so fun.
Yeah,
that's
it
neat.
was fun.
I
I
have
love the route to have me, brethren.
Yeah, I got this one I got in Aruba.
That's the
it
legit
looks
ship right
Jamaica,
there.
right? Jamaican. You look
Yeah,
Jamaican now.
yeah, somebody called me Rasta the other day. He came by, I was playing the flute. He said, "Hey, Rasta."
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
You are Rasta though. Both of you.
Yeah, I definitely sort of identify with it, but I think of Rasta, the same way as I think of Buddha, as it's like aspiring to be
Oh,
a
so it's
higher
a
man.
religion. Okay, I see.
Not
I see. I mean,
so
like
much of
to me, it's like Rasta means just dread, long
neither one
hair.
of them are a religion. More of
Huh?
Buddhism isn't a religion, and neither is Rastafarianism. Rasta is a lifestyle.
I
It's
mean, like
more,
coming from Ethiopia, like when my family see me with my hair like that, they would just call me Rasta.
yeah.
So it's like a normal thing for this one. The hair looks like that.
Well,
Okay.
Rasta generally, uh, worship, Haile Selassie as
Mm.
the second coming of Christ, and they study the Ethiopian Bible, which is much different than the King James version. But there's many people who are Rasta who don't study the Bible,
Okay.
and but basically just accept that Rastafari, King Selassie, was a noble being,
Hmm.
an awakened being,
Okay.
and um, and then it's more in the livity, of like vegan eating, connection with nature, and the locked hair is like a showing of your covenant with Jah, that your covenant with nature and the universe
Yeah.
to trust.
Okay. Now I
Yeah,
understand Rastafarian better.
yeah. I was learning a lot of things around my family. They were teaching me about ITIL living.
Yes,
They said ITIL is vital.
yes, sir.
Hmm. I
Famous
like
words from
that.
Sister Carol. Vital is vital. It's that whole thing of like the only thing that's going to nourish our bodies is prana, that life force, the vital life of plants. Other foods just degrade our prana. You know, so uh,
Makes
it's an
sense.
understanding, and they totally. It's also sort of the embracing of like herbalism and those ways of healing, like fasting and sort of a cult wisdom of just knowing you're in right alignment. If you take care of your body, you take care of your community, you take care of your land, then you're living in the highest life.
Common sense, right?
It's
Common
just, it's
sense.
just,
It
it's
should
just
be a
simple
common
living.
sense. Yeah.
Yes. That's what
I
I love
like that.
about it.
Yeah, yeah. FYI, this is what my next book is about.
Oh, really? Awesome.
Jerome is just
Awesome.
dropping books on us. I was just about to start this one.
Oh,
So
oh, that's gonna be a good one. You gonna enjoy that one.
I'm like,
Oh, man.
you see how sleepy I looked up? I'm like, okay, let me see. And then I looked at the time. I'm like, oh my God, Jesse's live. So, I wasn't prepared for anything. So we'll
You're
see.
I
gonna
can't
So this,
enjoy that
even.
one, Nabiha. You'll enjoy that.
yeah,
You'll enjoy that. Yeah.
it looks, scary.
I,
I bet there's a lot of food in that house, huh?
I don't know.
Lots of food in that house.
I don't
Like
know.
it's a lot of
Actually,
horror happening in the
you
kitchen.
you might be surprised. You might be
Yeah,
surprised.
what
It might
can
it
I
might
expect?
uh it might subvert your
Hmm.
expectations. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Well,
We
I
Cause
can't
it,
even
can
keep
have
up, man. I like you dropping more books than I can read right now. It's
right?
awesome.
Even I can't
It's
even keep up
incredible.
with them.
so
Yeah,
Even
this next
you keep
one
in
is
a mode.
this next one was inspired by my family and the cruise. So a lot of it are my observations from the cruise I just went on.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the stuff that I seen on the cruise, I mean, I seen so much. But yeah, I put a lot of that in there. And then also my whole family on my mother's side, well, not my whole family, but the family reunion that we were on the cruise were the Williams family, and they're all Jamaican. So they're from like Spanish Town, Kingston, um, different places around Jamaica. Ocho Rios, Spanish Town,
Ocho
and
Rios is so pretty. I really
yeah,
want to go there.
for sure.
So beautiful.
So so this is gonna be a trip, a journey to Jamaica. There's a character. Actually, I don't want to spoil it. I don't want to spoil anything for you, but it's shaping up to be a good one. I've been
Okay.
hard at work on it. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Nice.
I love it.
Nice.
That's brilliant, man. I'm so glad to see you, just being able to be, and I see you in a groove where you're just like, you're in your habit, you're in your flow, in your vibe. And this is something that I want to like chant out there to like the all, is that when you center on your well-being and your life purpose, the other things, like it gives you so much energy. You can bring so much more to what you're doing, and then the manifestations just come so much more readily too.
Manifesting generator.
Yeah.
That's when you become. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's of course a human design archetype that some people are born that way, and so that can also be a piece of it, of course, but all of us can operate that way, you know what I mean? So
Yeah. No, I get it. It just made me think of generators.
manifesting generators, yeah. My
I
son
mean,
a manifesting generator.
oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I am a generator on the human design.
Me
Like
too.
my sacral is wide open, and
Likewise.
there's also things that I feel like I've trained, like I've cultivated, like traits, characteristics, traits, and just passions that are, like you said, it's more than a hobby. It's like it's life giving, it's breath giving. It's something that it's the gift that just keeps on. The more you put in, the more you get out, and it just keeps going. The energy just keeps flowing. So, I mean,
Who is it?
yeah, I'm enjoying the process.
It's great to see, and it's also great to see someone who, I don't know how old you are, Jerome, but who's kind of younger and in their own flow, in their own life, and not like in this codependent, like yearning, you're completing yourself, and I know that like some of the ways in which I've sort of held myself back is in compromising some of those things so that they're not as integrated, and I'm like in a reformation period in my life, where I can recognize, okay, like this boundary that I need to keep now, and your actual needs are needs. They can't be compromised. You think of a bridge that's compromised, you don't want to go over that bridge, so
Yeah. I mean, Nabiha and I, we're practically the same age. I mean, how old did you think I was, Jesse?
I don't know. I think you both look like in your mid-30s, maybe. I'm guessing. Is that right? Yes.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean,
I turned 35 this October.
Okay.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
Time is flying. Oh my God. Jerome. Yeah, time is flying.
What?
I'm just saying, I just remember when you were 33 now. So it's like 35 already. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not waiting on anybody.
I
Yeah.
know. That's so weird.
Wayne, believer, higher creator says, Jerome, so grateful to learn the wisdom of your pranic journey.
Much love, Wayne. Much love.
And Kid
Shout
Monk
out to
said,
Wayne.
I'm a manifesting generator.
Aw.
shout out to Wayne in Syria. Wayne always tells me about Syria. Yo. Shout out to Wayne.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, it's great. You know, it's prana producing. It feeds the community prana. Actually, you know, I think of this like in terms of like chi. You know, they talk about there's all these different kinds of chi. There's heaven chi and earth chi and water chi and fire chi and you know, um, and I think there's such a thing as like community chi. You know, that we can. It's that whole thing of like a high tide lifts all
Sabrina,
boats. You know,
I'm busy.
we all put in
I
supporting
don't
each
have it.
other and creating from our passion and purpose.
I will
Absolutely.
give it to you.
We're fulfilling niches with our gifts, and we're uplifting and creating this energy in the all that lifts everyone up.
Right.
So
Right. Community chi.
it's a blessing to be living your blessings. You know.
Hmm.
Community chi. I love that. That when you create from your purpose, or when you create from your passion, you'll do it on purpose. I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Community chi.
Yeah.
Writing it down, right?
We can
I thought you were
all see
writing it
that.
down.
And that's that mastermind concept too. The more we all like we're doing today
Mm-hmm.
and have been doing, connecting our hearts and minds in the same vibration, it increases the vibration, you know, so that it resonates more with less effort, you know, and the more people who are on here joining us and feeding, you know, their beautiful golden prana into their, you know, into the blessing is like it just builds and builds. And this is, I think this thing of cellular detoxification and the pranic journey, and then this, it's just like the Buddhist path. You work on yourself, and then you build enough that then you can just pour it out, you know. And we all want to be that magnanimous. I forget the magnanimity. I can't say the word right now. That person who's like really giving and like noble and like, you know, and always there. But you know, if you're doing it from a martyr complex, you're bleeding your prana. You're, you know, you're not really serving the all because you can't give your fullness if you're pouring from an empty cup.
That's what it's called, magnanimous?
Magnanimity.
Magnetizing something, right?
Magnanimity?
Magnet.
Magnanimity is like,
That makes sense.
you know, someone who's really great, someone who has a great soul, who's always very compassionate and thoughtful and giving, and, you know, a support, you know, that person has magnanimity, you know.
Magnanimity. Someone who magnemize or what? I'm finding like words. Whatever it is, you magnemize it. You made it, you know, bigger. Yeah.
Jesse's always teaching words. He's always he's always schooling us.
Oh,
Yeah, he's feeding us though, you know. Do we need more words?
well, yeah,
Yeah.
it's an interesting thing with that, right? With words, because it's like the whole thing of like the Tao that can be spoken
Mm-hmm.
is not the real Tao, right? And yet, just like, for instance, like in botany and herbalism, knowing the Latin binomial is way more specific than just pointing at something being like, that's a mustard or that's a, you know, a lettuce family, you know, there's hundreds, you know. So sometimes that specificity is needed to be able to express a concept adequately.
Yeah.
So that's why I like words and study words. And I could totally get off on a whole lifetime studying etymology and just the meaning of words, because that's like the program that runs consciousness, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is language.
I know what you
And
mean. I know what you mean. I've always been interested in words too. It's just like figuring out the puzzle, you know, like finding a way to express yourself, even like, you know, more. So I like when I speak sometimes I don't have enough words to express myself. So I know how it feels to not have enough words to express, you know. But at the same time I don't collect words. I just try to find a way to simplify things, like, you know, like just look at me and just understand what I understand, kind of, you know, telepathy kind of. Yeah.
That's what I love about you, Nabiha, is your whole being is more about the essence of things, right? Not not the, even Gemini are generally kind of more focused on the minute details, you know, but you seem to have this, whatever's in your stars or your soul or your being, you know, like you really have a really good way of connecting with the essence of things and communicating from that place, which is essential. That's why it's called the essence, you know,
I
is it?
sometimes think like, how did that person understand me? I don't even understand myself.
I
Like, did I
love your
even
book.
express that? Did I even
I'm
explain that? So I get surprised when people say they understood what I said.
I'm loving your book right now. You are very eloquent with your speech. You're very good,
Yeah.
and it's obvious that you read a lot because it's very clear, yeah. And the concepts are really well um, um, fleshed out. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm having trouble with
Jesse's
words.
helping me edit my book, by the way, Jerome. So that's why he knows about the book.
I'm
That's one of the
going
things.
Yeah.
slowly. I'm
So
sorry.
yeah, no,
That's
that's fine actually. It's edited. It's done. So it will be released soon. So
Oh,
yeah.
oh, you beat me. Okay.
Yeah.
you beat.
So but that's fine. That's fine. Yeah. I have
I'm
the
going
second one
too
ready
slow.
though. So if you want to read it, that's shorter.
I do. I'm going to read all of both of your books, big time.
Yeah.
And you're inspiring me to read too, but I can't get my plate clear right
I
now. I'm
know.
doing too many other things. And part of it is the vision that we have of like doing a pranic retreat, you know, a USA pranic retreat. So I'm working to get the grounds ready here to be able to receive people and do that, you
Yeah.
know, in community.
Ellie Tom is coming down sometime July if we bring
Awesome.
him down here. Yeah. So I was thinking about having a retreat, like a small little one in somewhere in LA,
Hmm.
before our big one. And then I invited Ellie Tom, and he said he was fine with it. So I will plan better, and then I will send out invitations for everyone to join.
And
Awesome.
our big one, just want to say while I got you guys with me, is like maybe I think we should take a good 6 months, 5 to 6 months to properly promote
Mm-hmm.
and get the word out. Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, so maybe we can start conversations about that soon again.
Mm-hmm.
But it'd be so fun just to be in the same space with you all, and you know, have other pranic practitioners there, and just you know, be
Yeah.
in the vibe.
Yeah.
So.
And Jerome, it's gonna be planned in Elena's place. So Elena and I just planned this while you were on a cruise. So
Awesome. Awesome. So it's gonna be in Long Beach.
yeah,
Awesome. Awesome. What? When?
sometime in July, like beginning of July.
Okay, and that's the one with Ellie Town.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful.
I would
Beautiful.
I would like to be there for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we're just gonna plan it first, just to see. It was just, you know, we spoke about it, and Ellie Tom is in. So the rest
Beautiful.
we just have to plan.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Sounds great. I'm already seeing it. I'm already envisioning it.
All
You
right.
know. Yeah.
Yeah. Divine timing, right? Divine timing.
Yeah.
Everything.
Everything.
And
Everything happened.
she's got a great place for it. You
Hmm.
know, her setup, her place is great in Long Beach for it. It's awesome.
That's
Yeah.
nice. Yeah.
I love that thing of divine timing. It's like it is really a great way to live your life. That all the delays, all of the unseen foreseen things that pop up are all part of the necessary
Hmm.
process. You know, a necessary step toward where you're headed. You know,
Absolutely.
so
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
that's been
And
super
I'll clean off my plate for your books.
Huh?
nice.
I said I'll clean my plate. Jesse said he said I can't get my plate clean. I said I'll clean my plate for your book.
Yeah. Jesse, we're waiting for your book.
Yes, I really want to write one. I just it's just been I've kind of been scrambling just to make ends meet, you know, for my family. At the same time as pursue my prana and my future vision. And I've just a little bit of time to read, you know, and it's one of my favorite yogas, you know, is just to read.
Yeah.
I just read a little bit just before jumping on here.
That's a
And
yoga?
so
Yeah.
Well,
It's
I think of
amazing.
it as a yoga study, you know, study. It depends on what you're studying on. You know, if you're
Jerome is
reading,
like, oh my God,
if,
I do a lot of yoga then.
yeah, I think if you're reading, you know, like, violent comic books, it's maybe not yoga, you know, but if you're reading Dharma or, you know, something on your progression path,
Hmm.
you know,
I can
that's
see that being
totally,
yoga.
I
You
think,
can be upside down reading it too.
people think of yoga as the poses, but the
Hmm.
yoga is just the stretching before you meditate.
Yeah,
You know, the yoga is the merging experience. You
yeah.
know,
Body coming
I just
in
feel that
union.
if I'm
Yeah.
reading like one of my like I've been reading Milarepa, and when I hear his words, it's like I'm listening to my master. I'm listening to my guru, like
Hmm.
directly, and it's a transmission, and it's like it soothes my soul. It puts me in that meditative space, you know.
Hmm.
So
Wow.
Yeah, I know
I
exactly
count
what you
it.
mean. I used to read right before meditation. It was just a thing I used to do. And then I will read, some spiritual books or something, Mostly it would be, I don't remember the names. Oh my God. But it would be this particular, meditator.
Mhm.
What's his name? Anyway, every time I read it, then when I get into the meditation, I feel like I'm streaming through that
Mhm.
person, if that
Is
makes
it
sense.
Krishna?
So,
Chris?
no, not Krishna. Krishna is just like we think alike. I just don't read his books.
Uh,
I listen to his, yeah. No, I will. What's it
There's a
called?
I really like. I mean
Pranayama.
the
No,
oh
Paramahansa.
Paramahansa
yes,
Yogananda.
Yeah,
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 Yogananda. There we go.
he is amazing.
There we go.
He is
So I
so
would have
amazing.
that the scientific affirmation, the little
He's
book. Yeah, so I would just open a page and then I would dive into that and then I would just be streaming through. And
and there's so much talk in that book about fasting and prana and living on light, and you know, uh, this the thing is of transcendence is like that is like basically where we're biohacking on a whole nother level. You know,
hmm.
ourselves, we're like hacking our consciousnness. You know, and so it's that's the liberation. You know, if we can liberate ourselves, then we have walked have we will have walked the path, and we can show the path to others. You know, without that we're not qualified to help anyone do anything.
I mean, like if you are
You
walking the
can't help
path.
yourself, how can you help anyone else, you
Hmm.
know?
Yeah. I believe in walking the path. I've heard so many people that write to me like, hey, I'm trying to make my family understand this. I'm trying to make my friend understand this. And, this is the truth. This is that. This is that. But I always tell them, like, hey, you don't need to make anybody understand anything. You know? You're not supposed to hold anybody their hand and say, like, okay, hey, this is the path. Because it may not be. So you being and you walking in your path, just showing that you are walking in your path, people will wonder, like, okay, hey, do I also have a path to walk on? But if you tell them, like, hey, come on, walk my path, this is the path,
Yeah,
it's misleading somehow. So I feel like I have to be just walking my path and then allow you to see how I'm walking my path without telling you how to walk your path. And then you find your path that way.
that
Because we all have different paths and it's just ridiculous to me to think that we all can heal the same way or understand things the same way or that things will click for us the same way all the same time because it doesn't. We have
mhm,
different beliefs that are limiting us. We have different ways of thinking, right? Those are the beliefs that's holding us back.
mhm.
So,
Well, it's just that thing of force, you know.
mm,
Force never force the Tao is this like magnet mirror, right? So force brings force. You know, you force against and they force
mhm,
against. You know,
mhm,
there's no it's that space of like acceptance and openness where and you know, to model, to just live it
mhm,
and not be in judgment. That's something I've been really working with that has been really powerful way to reframe uh, a true sense of liberation and happiness. The Buddhists talk about the 8 worldly concerns,
mhm,
which are pleasure and pain, gain and loss, uh, blame and praise, and fame and disrepute. So every time we interface with those things, if we become attached or averse, then we suffer.
Mm.
You know. So if you're gonna gain, and then you're all happy about it, but then you know you're gonna get some money from some gig or whatever, and you're all stoked, and then it doesn't happen, and then you're all crushed, right? You know, that kind of thing. Or someone says something about you, and it may be completely untrue, and you get all worked up, and you should know well what you did. You shouldn't be worried about it, but we still take that on. So these are the things that cause us to suffer, and it's like.
But it's the program that's running in ourselves somehow.
Yeah.
You know, that's the only thing that is stopping us from that flow, finding that balance so we can just flow. Like everybody, it's running their own program. Basically, I feel like everybody has this own program running, and then everybody's just trying to find a way, you know. But all you need to do is stop, understand yourself, you know, get deeper into yourself so you understand the layers of program that we have. You know, like if you were onion, right, and you peel all the layers, you have to find that center. You are that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You are
That's
that.
what.
And then it's like we don't have the same layers. Everybody's layers are different. So every layer that you are like peeling off is different. So we're not the same onion, obviously. So it's just like understanding that every layer that you take off, there's a little clarity. You're coming out, you know? A little bit of you is coming out. Just clear it out. But then we get stuck on these, you know, belief systems, the layers. You know, we get stuck on different. I don't know how to explain it, but you get it, yeah.
You are singing the Dharma, literally what is, taught by the Buddhist adepts, is whole, they call it the pith instructions, we basically have, there's the Dharma, everyone, knows that word Dharma, and that's supposed to be like the law or the truth of Buddhism. But that word Dharma is a Sanskrit word that just means similar, like the essence or the law or the guiding principle of the thing. And that we all have individual dharmas, and so to touch base with your pith instructions, your innermost values and your drives and the expression of that. That's the fulfillment, of ourselves, But those layers are what keep us that's like the ego clingings, that we want to be like this one person we saw, or the conditioning and acceptance from our parents, and that is what ends up being a barrier between us and our sense of
exactly
continuity of happiness.
Exactly. But if you think about it, if you are that center and you have all these layers that you need to peel in order to find yourself, imagine every time you collect another new idea, you're putting another layer and another layer and another layer. So you're just making your onion bigger and bigger. So that's why it's just eliminate things. Like what you believe may not be true. So you shouldn't absolute think like whatever you believe, it shouldn't be like the absolute truth. You should always know like this, you're going further. You are peeling a lot of layers because every layer will become true, right? So you think this is the truth. You stop at that layer, right? But that other layers are breaking, like stopping you from going further and further to dig yourself out. So,
Jerome, do you remember the words from the Tao? Something to the effect of to seek knowledge, add something every day. To seek wisdom, subtract something every day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when
it makes sense.
Yeah,
that's what Nabiha is just dropping like Buddhist and Taoist wisdom straight from her pith instructions.
Yeah, yeah, it's all the same.
It's all the same.
It's all the same. I'd love to know what kind of onion Nabiha is. What do you feel like? Do you feel like a red onion, like a blooming onion? Like what kind of onion you feel?
I don't know, some white onion maybe.
You a white onion?
maybe a shallot,
Okay.
I don't want to be that big onion. I don't want to have all those layers. Hopefully, I'm just a little shallot. I've been a big onion, maybe. Every time you
What
come into this program, you're always like all these layers, and then we come back again. Now we're talking about that reincarnation, but I mean, at this time, I hope I'm a shallot and not a big onion,
you want
that
to
I don't have to
you want
peel
to be
back
a
so much.
Things are medicinal, man.
What are you saying, Joe?
Onions, they've actually done some pretty crazy studies with onions and garlic.
Yeah,
If you put onion extract or garlic juice in a petri dish with cancer, it kills the cancer.
really.
what?
But they
Yeah. There's,
never want to give you the
there's,
cure.
I can't say it as a herbalist, but
Never.
it's one of those things that my philosophy is there is no disease. There is disease symptoms,
Yeah.
And you guys know the disease symptoms are the autotoxicity of the poisoning from overeating and the residues, the toxic residues of the foods and the things on the foods and the petrochemicals and the pharmaceuticals, blah, you know. So once again, it's like that taking away of things is the wisdom, right? You know, but
Did you say onion and
garlic. But
the garlic together?
there's quite a few vegan doctors who have done tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of cancer disease reversals using things like juice therapy, fasting, breath work, everything
Because
that is the chronic.
whatever that's in there is the disease. It needs to be eliminated.
The
So
body's natural
flushing the
state
body.
is health and vitality. Every cell in creation is seeking vibrance,
Yeah.
So that, like you always say, Nabiha, fasting is our natural state. Because that is the cell coming. That's why fasting works, is it tosses off the toxicity and rebalances, gets it back in equanimity, or not equanimity, but there's a word in botany for it. I can't think of it right now, but
But I know what you
balance.
mean. Yeah, like my sister's husband is diabetic. He got diabetes type 2, and the doctors told him he can't fast this Ramadan. Last Ramadan, he said he can't fast. So he came to me. I don't know, for some reason he came to me and he said, Nabiha, I want to fast, because he want to do it for God, right? So he really want to fast, and he don't want this disease to stop him. So he said, I want to fast. What do you think I should do? I just told him fast. He said, my doctor told me do not fast, but what should I do? I said fast. And his sugar have not dropped once. He's been fasting these days, right? All the other days, he came to me yesterday and he said, you know what? I've been fasting and my sugar haven't been dropping. It stayed green throughout the whole day, he said. And normally, he can go and cut grass and it's like beep, 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 beep. He can be coming in here, dee, 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 dee. The thing is just beeping all day long. But when he's fasting, it's just stable.
Yes.
That's
It was stabilized,
There's a
So
doctor.
today he's fine. Yesterday he was fine. Everything was just going smooth. But the doctors didn't want him to fast.
There's a number of doctors who have done full-on many diabetes reversals through fasting.
Yeah. I told him, like, hey, you can reverse this. So I'm trying to get him on the juices and stuff. But then he go and sneak when this thing peeps and stuff, It's like,
All of the major degenerative, debilitating diseases, heart disease, cancer, diabetes, like all these things can be cured with fasting. And
yeah.
vegan
No,
and
he's
juicing.
all green. He's stabilized.
Yeah.
you just connected a dot for me, Nabiha. You connected something. That's what that beeping was.
What beeping that?
One of my family members, she would have something beeping and she would quickly get up and she would have to leave the table, but she was eating and someone was like beep 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 and she would leave. That's what that beeping was?
Yeah, they need
Sugar level.
insulin shot because their blood sugar just went too high.
Too high, too low. That's what it
On
is.
the
Yeah.
blood glucose monitor.
That's
Yeah.
what that
Yeah.
I didn't even know what that was. I didn't know it. But she just bolted.
Yeah, it
She just left.
becomes like a muscle, you remember.
Well,
It's just like, that machine inside of you is broken. Now you have a manual on outside.
Well, it's more than that. Some people are so bad that they have to go take insulin right away. Diabetes is no joke. People die from it. You can lose limbs. You can lose your sight. It is a
Mm.
serious disease, you
It's
know.
like,
And it's just
you
people
become
eating.
sugar. Your blood becomes sweet.
Well,
Even the mosquitoes, everything becomes, people become sticky. Like literally, their blood
well,
becomes
yeah.
sticky.
It's sticky. It's full of candida and microplastics and you know heavy metals and all
When
this
you were
stuff. And so this is
saying,
why I think the chi is carried on the blood. I think consciousness has a connection with the blood, and as you purify your blood, you actually purify your consciousness and refine your chi.
yeah,
So
yeah, you can clean your blood through your breath. Really, breath work. That's what I believe. I don't know. I haven't read it anywhere, but
for
that's what
sure,
I think. So,
check this out. So you inhale oxygen, right,
mhm,
which is oxygen. Uh, uh, um, what is that? Um, O2, just O2, two oxygen molecules, right? Carbon, when then you exhale carbon dioxide with this which is carbon plus
mhm,
oxygen. So you inhale some and you exhale more, and we
mhm.
actually, through our breath, we eliminate more urine and feces than we do through our eliminatory organs
Yeah,
by weight.
I believe that.
Say
I believe
that
that.
again.
You are pooping and peeing out of your mouth and your nose when you breathe all day long, more than you do with your
Yeah,
eliminatory organ.
you're eliminating waste that way throughout the whole day. The other ones are just working sometimes.
How much
Like when you need
you
to
breathe,
pee.
your breath is constant. It's just constant, and you're constant. So we're carbon-based life. We eat carbon-based life, and there's all this carbon in
Hmm.
us, and we breathe and we exhale carbon as a byproduct after we inhale the
Makes
oxygen.
sense.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
yeah.
So
So you can
we're all
clean
breath
the blood
energy,
through that.
literally.
Yeah. Yeah, Jerome, remember when you were saying like the legs, people's legs are swollen?
Yeah.
Like
The
some
inflammation.
people when they're diabetic, yeah, they can get that swollen legs too.
Big
Yeah.
time.
Like the body just get inflamed.
Hmm.
Literally, you could just see like it's inflamed.
Hmm. And then what happens is mucus, wherever there's fire or acid, inflammation, anything like that, mucus comes in to heal it. And that accumulation of mucus then becomes a trap
Hmm.
for toxins that are coming into the body. So
Yeah.
that's why Dr. Sebi, uh, you know, uh, Arnold Airhead, all those people say the only cause of disease is mucus,
Hmm.
because
Hmm.
the accumulation of mucus every time there's inflammation in the body.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because mucus is not, I used to talk a lot about mucus because people think mucus is the enemy, but it's actually your
Feel good.
protector. That's your
Yes.
defense, like when something danger comes in, that's with the shield that comes up. But if you put danger, 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 and the shield is going to be filled up with mucus, right? So if the body is always trying to protect itself, you build up a lot of mucus. I was just explaining to my little niece today because she was stuffing her nose, and I told her like, "Have you ever seen me, do that?" And she said no. And I said because of I don't have mucus in my body because of when you what do you call it when you do this? What do you do
Yeah, blow
that? What
your
do you
nose.
call it?
Blow
Yeah,
Blowing
your
blow
your
your
nose.
nose. Yeah, yeah. When you blow your nose and stuff, that's because of the stuck mucus. It's not like we just made it into a normal thing that
actually,
something comes out of your nose, but it's a stuck. It's just mucus. It's nothing but mucus. You know.
once the time
So
it's actually coming out of your nose, it's actually already filled up your eliminatory organs, your
that's when it's
lymphatic system,
filled
all the
up.
way
Now it
up
wants
into
to
your.
come out from different places. Yeah. So literally, like I can hear my sister always coughs a lot, because she thinks she got asthma. I don't think she got asthma. I just think like her chest is filled with a lot of mucus, and she got breathing problems because of that. But
Mhm.
she thinks
It's
it's
scar
asthma.
that inflammation scarifies the lungs.
Mm-hmm.
Inflammation can be from a lot of things, but once you're already in that state of hyperinflammation, then
Mm-hmm.
you're more susceptible. So
Yeah. No, she's full of mucus. All I'm saying to her is like every time she complains about something, I'm like, ah, it's mucus, mucus. And I understand now why, it's mucus. Like I used to hear Dr. Zabi, whatever, everybody say that, mucus cause it's diseases, or the person is already sick when they have that so much mucus. So I can see my sister, joint pain, like
Mhm.
back pain, like the body aches, everything is just aching, everything is just hurting. That's
Mhm.
because of mucus.
Yeah.
And she don't eat much,
And lack of
you know.
hydration. And lack of hydration,
Yeah.
That's, I think, where the liquiditarian path is a very vital part of the, like going raw, so you get the slow working up and the adjustment to prana and the cleansing, the intestinal broom of the fiber, then moving to liquids to really wash out, and then eventually it just will rarefy into prana. In terms of a safe transition practice that someone can do is like to take that. I've been taking like 15 years. I'll take however long it takes. Maybe I don't get full prana. I've gotten to a place where I feel so much more liberated
Right.
already that it
Exactly.
doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And I will keep this practice going forever because so it's so beneficial,
Hmm.
to me.
I mean, it's a lifestyle, right?
Yeah, it's just like the
Whatever.
Rasta thing. It's a lifestyle. This is a liberty, and it's spiritual in nature, though it's not religious. Because of this thing, I keenly believe this. That as we detoxify, this becomes the vessel for that consciousness. Like, if we want to embody the highest, most high consciousness, you wouldn't, put like whatever the finest wine in like a dirty moldy cup that has been sitting on the counter, that's right, like, and then serve it to like your most esteemed friend, you would put it in a good vessel, and you would like, communicate the the dignity, that you're trying to bestow, that you like see in that person, and that's, we got to see that in ourselves and bestow that to ourselves, like take care of this human, and nurture and care for it in that way, like almost like another being, like a child. That like, did you feed your human? Did you take it out to play? Did you
Yeah.
cuddle it? Did you wash it? Did you
Yeah.
can't ignore your inner need and your inner being. You need that loving attention.
Yeah, it's funny that you're saying that because I was just telling my sister today, like, she never forgets to change her oil. She always complained about us forgetting, when, keeping up with the cars. And I told her, if you can keep up with a car like that, why don't you keep up with your body? Like, why
Mhm.
can't you keep up with your body? You know when to change the oil. You know when to take, the tires, when to change this, when to change that in the car. Why can't you just fix your body? But I think we take this for granted. We just think
Oh,
this is like
totally.
something that's just gonna last. We really don't take care of it.
It's amazing how it does last too. It lasts better than steel,
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
there's all
I
kinds
think
of
it's the
wear
ignorance
and
that
tear.
helps it last that long. Really, that we
Yeah.
we're ignorant to the fact that we're hurting it.
Ima- Imagine if we embodied. That's something that Lady Adama I shared with you. She talks about is like, we are already infinite beings. I totally believe this. We come from eternity. Right now, we are walking in eternity, and we don't have to die to leave here. There are adepts. We've talked about this a little bit before, who've done rainbow body transformation, or like the Egyptian thing of this is a seed for a higher dimension. Like, we could set the bar higher than I'm just going to eat a bunch of junk and retire and degrade. You know, like we could maybe graduate the Earth plane into another higher
Yeah.
dimension of being. You know, and to set our sights. You know,
Because it was
if
fight
there
is
is
from
God
addiction.
consciousness, if it is God consciousness walking within us, then let's give it the appropriate level of what it can do. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
the most.
That's my whole goal here. Actually, I just want to figure out, this vehicle and how far I can take it, and this is not it. This is the tool that I'm using here. like
Mm-hmm.
here. This is a, for me, the way I view this world, it's a, this is a um, planet where everything is a physical matter, dense matter. Everything is dense, right? So it just makes sense that I also have something dense that resembles everything here, right? But it doesn't mean that I am that. It just means that I'm embodying this body because of this body is a physical thing that I can use on this plane. Because of everything else, the rock, everything else is also, a dense matter.
Well, even the dense matter thing, if I may interject,
Mhm.
is an illusion that our minds create. That there is no such thing. Everything is just vibrating, floating
that
energy
that is
constantly.
true.
And so,
That is true. We
but
create the matter in our head, in our mind, unless the mind doesn't even exist and we get into the non-duality.
I love, I love how Jesse's so polite. Like, if I may interject, I need to use this. I need to use this, Jesse. I'm adding that to my arsenal. This, if I may interject.
oh, you have such good
If
tact, brother. You're so good at listening
if
and
I
being
may
attentive.
if I may interject. I hear
Look
you.
at Zero.
I hear you. I hear what you're saying, but if I may interject, right? I love that. It's so suave. It's so smooth. If I may
Thank you.
interject.
Yeah, that's my wish is to like honor everybody, like especially my friends. You guys are my great friends. Like I want to just honor you, and celebrate your victories and just like that's what friends do, It's just so I don't know. I feel like language is an opportunity to do that, to lift people up, and be mindful to be kind, It's a practice, another yoga, another practice, because since we're all one, I can't pervade any thought form toward you that isn't loving, and not burn my own soul. It has to be from that place all the time if that's what I want to experience all the time. And we can't always bat 1,000 everybody. Usually, I think the 80-20 is a great like code to live by. You just do your best, and you make sure you do it 80% of the time at least.
I love that.
I think I think it was Richard Koch, maybe Richard Koch, the 80-20 principle. That was a book that changed everything for me. The 80-20.
It's great.
Really?
Yeah, that was a great book that I read back in the day. I think that was one of the best self-help books that I read under that category. The 80-20 principle really revolutionized a lot of the things that, circling back to what you said about hacking away at the non-essential, hacking away at what, like eliminating and subtracting, not adding, but just letting go of the things that are unnecessary. The 80-20 principle helped me do that.
Hmm.
Yeah. Like only 80% of these things, you know, are getting 20%, but then 20% of these things are getting 80%. And it's like, if you just focus on this 20, you,
You can get an
you in the
80 out
money.
of it.
Yeah.
And it echoes something I remember Ellie Tom told us at that retreat in Sedona, and it was good medicine for my ears at the time because I'd become very rigid, and that's one of the things to be very weary of in terms of like eating disorders. If you're too rigid, that you actually are dealing with some psychological, issues
Mm.
that you're trying to control too much.
Hmm.
Um, so he said, give yourself permission, like that the people who have the greatest success, for instance, in like losing weight and making diet transformations and stuff, do that 80-20 thing where like they give themselves a cheat day, and I hear a lot of people saying like, don't ever give yourself a cheat day, that because that's just you're cheating yourself. But initially, if you're moving into it and you have those cravings coming up, they're just going to build, and the more you resist them, the more you're actually creating like a mental disease, you know.
That's
What?
why, yeah. In this journeys, a lot of people that do that. You know, the
Yeah,
regret
it can
that comes
attract
with
feedback
certain things,
for
and
sure.
yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people who just are, it's a way of trying to cope with emotions that they don't know how to handle, and they need someone to help them with those tools, you know, of emotional regulation. And I think that is like maybe 80% of the pranic path, and why meditation is the foundation. Because if you can just keep your mind steady, everything is easy. There's no need for anything ever. You're always covered,
Yeah.
and it's habituation to like, can I get my thing, or am I going to get some praise, or that, those eight worldly concerns that throw us off kilter, so that we're not
Yeah.
like in a steady stream of our own soul.
So when you said cheat day, now Nabiha, you know about the cheat day.
Cheat day.
The cheat day, right?
Yeah, to cheat.
The cheating. When
Yeah.
people call it like
Hmm.
they're cheating, when
I know. I don't resonate with that though. I don't have to cheat on myself. I just let it whatever. If it happened, it happened. If I was
Yeah.
doing something, let's say when people are like strict with something and then they, don't do.
Well, oh no, you froze up. You
you
do that
froze.
beautifully. You do that beautifully, though, Nabiha. In that you guys know me. I've been on this like 1 hour a day. It hadn't, is this something that came through the Juice Guru Institute, where they had a psychologist talking about eating disorders and eating, emotional eating, things we talk about all the time. That this path is helpful, can be helpful in healing, but can also be detrimental in healing,
Mm-hmm.
depending on your motivation, where you're coming from, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And she just pointed that out. If you have to be very rigid about what foods, what time, all these things, So I've been on this hour for years, and I'll like drink all this stuff, and I was like, And then the other day, it was the first time, I've probably like on like 1,000 days of doing it like that. But then the other night, I was just like, it was late at night. My wife was gone. I'd finished all my work. I was going to sit down and watch a movie with the dogs. And I just started nibbling on these cashews that my wife had out. I was just taking a crumb at first. I was like, And then I found myself eating them. And then I was like, oh, and so that kind of mentation says to me, I need to be more flexible with myself. Even though my body, I feel best, that the thing about what I've cultivated for myself is I get 23 hours feeling full prana, and then I also get an hour where I get to enjoy stuff, and flavor and, all of that. But I turn it on and then it's like, so, and I know I have emotional eating issues from my family, because my grandpa would just, he came from the Depression era, and he would tell my sister and I that we couldn't get up from the table unless we ate all the fat and gristle off our steak, and, all that kind of stuff. And, and just my family would do that. Like if my mom was anxious, she would go get something to nibble, and a lot of us grow up with these patterns, and we don't see them for what they are, and so that would be my hope in delving into this path and navigating my own, issues around that, is that I'll be able to overcome and learn and grow through them and help others. It's because we want our community growing into breatharian to do it in a wholesome, healthy, empowering way, and not a way that, can just be skewed by the wrong motivations, or not the inability to look at ourselves and what we're doing, what our practice is, and be critical, not just extol all the benefits all the time, but be like, okay, where could this be problematic for people, and how can we like bridge those concerns so that people can go forward on this path, knowing that because this is the path towards healing. I totally believe, what Ellie Tom said years ago is that breatharianism will be as popular as veganism is now, as we learn that this is just the natural state of our bodies. But after practicing it for millennia and generations, we should not be forceful in the same way. We should let it be a slow, gradual, the gentle healing is the greatest. And anyway, I had to
Can I
share
ask a
that.
question about food?
Yeah.
So, if let's say because of I was just thinking about it when you were talking about the cashews. So, if let's say like on the table there's something that you don't like, because I don't believe everybody like everything, right?
Mhm.
So, if you let's say like if the person is hungry and they're feeling hungry or something like that, even if they don't like it, would they eat it?
Yeah.
Some people do,
Yeah.
definitely, just habitually.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I think that's where the problem is then, because when someone tell me like, yeah, but why don't you just eat it? I don't get it. I'm like, I don't like it. Why would I do it?
Yeah.
But if you're hungry, you can eat it. No, I still don't like it.
Yeah, that's another program. I mean, that's another program. Like the program of starvation. Like I'm gonna starve if I don't eat. You
But
Yeah.
know,
then what
so
if it tastes something that you just don't like it, but the fact that you think you're gonna die,
yeah,
you will eat it? But
yeah.
you are not gonna die if you skip like 1, 2, 3 meal. That's not gonna happen. So I can skip this one. I can skip that tomorrow too until I find what I like. I
If
know I
Yeah.
won't die until I find what I
it,
like.
you know, and if somebody's in the environment where, you know, they're around other people that also think they're gonna die if they don't
Mm.
eat, and then they're watching television and TV and the news, and they're kind of being inundated by information that feels that they're also gonna die if they
Yep.
don't eat,
Mm.
and then they're,
So this
being bombarded by
is
information of
real.
That's,
I mean, it's
that,
real that people really think that they will die. Like I hear my sister say, like, "Oh my God, my kids are gonna starve today. I didn't cook food," and she cook every day. But like 1 day or 2 days, I tell her like it's okay. They can just grab a bread or something. What is wrong? But she really think they're gonna die, or she just saying it.
well, there's a couple of things going on there because I can relate to this as a parent. Partly, you need to feel like you're doing your duty to your children and you practice something. And then if you don't do it, you feel like you're not doing your
But you don't
duty.
think they're dying? They will
Yeah.
starve.
I mean, and people will use that terminology, and I don't think they really believe it fully, but they believe it enough
yeah.
that
Hmm.
it motivates them,
I think I thought it
to
was
do
just a saying.
certain behavior. And
No.
it's definitely something, that's partly how, and the lady on this juice guru uh, training was talking about that, we've talked about it before, as part of this training to food is so deeply ingrained because when we were little, your parents don't know when you're crying what's wrong. Like you could have your diaper pinched or something. You could have gas. You could be scared, you know. But people tend to, I've seen tons of parents do this. When the baby cries, they just find some food and stuff it at the baby,
Yeah.
you know.
Put it right in there. Yeah, yeah.
And then that trains at a very deep psychological level that when I have any upset, I can just take food,
Yeah.
Yeah, but the
instead of
thought that
dealing with the
leaks.
problem, you
Hmm.
just suppress, you know. So it's,
Jerome, you were
there's
saying
the,
something. I
No,
interrupted you. Sorry.
no, you said the thought of what?
Huh? I don't.
You were saying the
Right
thought?
now. Right now, I don't know what I said.
Okay, okay.
No, but I know
So,
I interrupted you earlier before I.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, there's power in proximity. You know,
yes, the
the
environment.
proximity principle. Like the proximity principle, like there's, when you have a level of awareness and you're constantly around other people who have that level of awareness, and you're receiving information from that level of awareness, if you don't know that, you know, another program exists, because like, you know, even Ellie Tom will say, Jesse, you know, Ellie Tom will say, breatharian, that's just another program.
It
He's just
Yeah.
living
is
under
another
the, he
program.
said he's just
Yeah,
living
yeah.
under the breatharian program, you know?
It
He's
is
just
another
not under that
program.
other program. He used to be on that other program. Now he's on another program. So if you don't know that a program exists, it's like you can't download it. You
Mm-hmm.
know, there's no way you could download it because you don't even know it's possible.
Mm-hmm.
So honestly, I mean, a lot of the stuff that I talk about, and I even was just encouraging and just empowering and, you know, letting people know it's possible. That's all I really wanted to do. I wasn't trying to, you know, let anybody know you have to do this, or you should do this, or you must do this, or this is the way. No, it's just like it's an option. It's possible. Like the program is there. If you want to download it, it's there. It's
That's
possible.
what I
You know, it's an experience. You know,
that's
like
what I love about the way you're sharing is
yes,
it's this totally open-ended thing, you know, and it's an open-ended invitation
right,
without sort of uh, uh, virtue signaling, you know.
right. Yeah, just letting people know, like, because I would have wanted to know. Let me tell you, back in the day, you know, when I was going through all sorts of digestive issues and breathing issues and sinus issues and constipation issues and just so many issues in my body, I would have wanted to know that there were options. You know, I
I
didn't
tell
know I
you,
had an alternative. I wasn't around anybody who knew there was an alternative, you know, so it was only when I got online on here through the power of technology and connecting to people way over there and finding out about people way over there that I realized, oh wow, this there's people living different. You
mhm.
know, people are living very different lives. And this, you know, Americanized way of living that I was used to, the standard Americanized diet that I was used to, it wasn't all there was. I thought that was all there was. You know, I thought everything all the symptoms, I thought that was normal.
I,
You know, everything, I thought this is just
I
life,
was
you know?
I had the same thing. I was completely bought into it. You know, I was completely just like, you know, and just moving to. I started my prana journey without realizing, just by starting to meditate again, sun gaze, and switching to raw foods, and it was such a revelatory, enlightening, fun, you
Yeah.
know, release
Hmm.
that I had needed. You know. Uh, very much, and my body was screaming for it, and you know,
Yeah.
and that whole thing of like proximity, the proximity
Hmm.
principle, the way we are ensconced in this culture, and you know, it's hard to you look out, and all of the examples of the people, generally speaking, are not, you know, living in this way, you know.
Right. Exactly.
So there's no model, you know, and just, I mean, that was the thing for me with Ellie Tom. I remember like wanting to get into breatharianism and stuff, and he had this video, breatharianism for the common man,
Mm.
you know, and that this is something that you can do, you know, and that he had broken the mold, you know, and then I had that conditioning, you know, if you go 3 days without food, you'll die.
Really?
So I dry fasted 4 days, and then I was like, ha, I did like,
Hmm.
I just needed to go far enough to break the paradigm, you know?
Yes. Yes.
And now it's like obvious, you know, it's like, oh my God, it's like, how could I not see the truth of this thing, of the liberation of our souls through the cleansing of our bodies, you know?
And
The
you had to
allowing of the
discover it in
cleansing
your
of
own body. You
You
had to
have
feel
to,
it
I guess.
first in your own
Yeah.
body.
yes,
Hmm.
Yeah.
yes.
But you really thought you would die after 3 days if you don't
No,
eat.
no. I believed it. I totally believed it. I did. It is my brain had already. I had absorbed, you know, hundreds or thousands of hours of breatharian material and books, and you know, it was part of the trajectory that I was going on from just my transition to raw and herbalism, and that, you know, was the foundation. And I was studying, Ayurveda and Chinese traditional medicine, and they were talking about it in the books, these books from the ancients, and that just titillated my fancy, so much. Like, whoa, yeah, get free. People are talking all the time about getting free from the matrix. Want to get free from the matrix. This is the way.
From your own limitations. That's what the matrix is.
Yes. Yes.
Our own limitations.
Anything that binds you and doesn't liberate you is the matrix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the program running in every cell. Really. That's what it is. But we can get out of it.
It's it's one of my favorite scenes. I don't know how many times. I've probably seen it hundreds of times.
Thank you. Sorry.
Oh, you gotta go?
No, I was just asking her to turn off the juicer because the cat is on my lap, and
okay.
It was just running away in the room. Go on.
Just like the perfect time.
Yeah. Just as Nabiha was saying, the program, like Morpheus, they uploaded the jump program for Neo, the jump program.
Oh yeah, I love that one. I'm like, I wish I could just download the skills like that.
Yeah.
I love that scene.
Yeah. And he was like, he told him, he said, you have to let it all go. He said, fear, doubt, and disbelief.
Yeah. Let it all go.
Let it all go. And he was like, what's the difference between me jumping from this skyscraper to that skyscraper? Like from this building to that building, what's the difference? And he's like, he believes that he can, and he doesn't think that he can't. He believes that he can. He knows that he can. He said, don't think you are, know you are. He said, what's the matter? You're faster than this, right? He said, stop trying to hit me and hit me.
Yeah.
Right? You're faster than this. Like, come on.
Do it.
You think that's air you're breathing? Like when he said you think that's air you're breathing, I was like, I started thinking to myself, like, wait a minute. Like, what am I breathing, right? Even that was another layer.
I want to watch The Matrix again.
Oh man.
I want to watch it now. Yeah.
That was such a good
that makes sense though. Like I question myself those questions every day. I ask myself, every day I question myself.
I've totally I've seen that my whole life in primarily they used to hit me when I was a kid in skateboarding. If you had a little bit of disbelief, you're gonna
done. Even swimming though, you when you learn swimming too, it's the same thing. You have little doubt, you sink.
You got to visualize yourself and kind of attack it. Like, yeah, I can do this. It's there's a time for stop things, and there's a time to go activate. I think like the 80-20. Generally speaking, you want to be pliant, soft, allowing. The Taoists say, stay to the yin, stay to the dark.
But then there's
times when you have to turn it on. You got to create a boundary. You got to protect. You got to go after what you want. If you don't initiate that sacred yang, then your life will pass you by.
It makes sense because 80%. Sometimes I have a hard time explaining to people that pain and pleasure are the same. Or good and bad is the same. It's just like when you lean on something and you make something bad.
Yeah.
But it's like how you find the balance in everything. Now I forgot actually what I was going to say.
No, it'll come to you.
That was good.
I forgot what I was going to say, but I had a point.
That was great. No, that was great. That was a great point just there because I think people get caught up in it, in the judgments. Say you're going for breatharianism, and then you fast, and everything's going real well, and then one day you come up and you find yourself eating a big old pizza, or I don't know what. You could shame, you could be all, or you could be like, I needed to do that,
Yeah.
and just let it be back there, and just keep going,
why waste another energy again? complaining about it or like,
Just
worrying
enjoy
about
it.
it. Yeah. You should just
And get
let
back
it
in
go
it.
because now you're using double energy. First the energy you ate it, the energy why did I eat it, you know? So
Yeah.
just
Like,
yeah, when
yeah.
it's supposed to happen. Everything is supposed to happen just the way,
Just
it's
letting
happening.
go. The other things you both have expressed that was, a profound sort of ringing of a truth I've had in my heart mind of, it comes from the Dzogchen tradition of Tibetan Buddhism. That is what you always talk about, Naviha, is you're enlightened already. You have this intrinsic awareness of enlightenment. And all you need to do is relax into it, you know? like really just like let all the play of the external reality unfold and just observe it. Don't get too emotionally wrapped up in it. Just observe it happen and just relax, you know?
That's what
And
we
that state, it's not like anything special. It's enlightened, but it's ordinary,
Mm.
Everyone has it.
hmm Absolutely.
Yeah.
We all the observers.
And
Well, we
all of
are there.
the pushing and pulling and this is good and that is bad, and that's what the pain point is.
Yeah, the 80/20. That's what I was gonna say. Yeah, I hope it helps people to understand that good and bad, it's not like the bad has to exist. When I try to explain to people that the bad has to exist or the pain has to exist, but it doesn't have to exist in the 80%. It could be the 20%. You see?
Mhm.
And that comes with the acceptance where you accept like, okay, hey, like I have my ups and downs, but like the 80% of your life should be like contain like joy and happiness and whatever the things that you want to do, and then that 20% is like the thing that balance things out somehow. So we have to somehow accept it. So when people say like, yeah, but why do bad exist and this, but why should good exist if bad shouldn't exist, like why would you choose one over the other? Why would you say bad is bad, like it's just, do you understand what I mean? So if people understood it that way and said like, okay, hey, I can accept, you know, something negative coming my way sometimes, it can't always be just sunshine, it has to be rain sometimes.
Yes.
Accepting it, it's yeah,
It's
it's amazing.
unrealistic to think that it would all be sunshine
Mm.
all the time.
Yeah,
And
but
if
that's what
you
people want that
resist
force,
that you, like you were saying, the 80/20, it could be mostly feeling good, I think it could be feeling good all the
hmm
time. But if you push away from that stuff, then all of a sudden you do have an 80/20 of just like bad stuff and a little bit of good stuff,
hmm
you know? So in the acceptance and the allowing of those experiences, it actually deepens us, to be more compassionate. We need to go through suffering to have compassion.
hmm
It's way too easy to get caught up in your own thing and your own stuff and your ambitions and your this and that and
yeah.
your own thoughts and be completely out of touch with other beings
hmm
and what they're feeling
hmm
and how
yeah.
to. It's a way to connect in with the
Yeah.
all.
Yeah. I think it's all, this life is based on perspectives as well. But I think like everything has its purpose, the good and the bad. Like when I tell people about my life, for some people it'll be like, oh my God, that's, something horrible. And how did you manage this? And when I look at someone's life, and it's just being like a straight, there's nothing, no interruption, nothing, I feel like that person hasn't learned anything somehow, because they could have learned from the mistakes they do, or if they left the place that they were born in, they will learn something else. And they will call that struggle, like, leaving my city and going somewhere else, not knowing where I'm going to be. They call it struggle, but that's a great lesson for you to be, evolving to a to yourself basically. But if you're stuck in one place and you think like, okay, my life is just straight and I have everything I need, this and that, you will never grow. So I think the mistakes that we make in life is so necessary. We really need that ups and downs. We really need that roller coaster. I wouldn't want my life if it didn't have this roller coaster. Really, it wouldn't even be fun for me. Somehow I wouldn't figure out. No, I mean, I don't mean in that way, but I mean,
No,
like I
no,
wouldn't.
I relate. I think we struggle too much,
Mhm.
but part of the well, is beautiful. Like, you know,
I mean, too
the
much
song like
perspective, right?
Leave Kweli called "The Beautiful Struggle,"
Mm-hmm.
and he's just talking about that. It's like, I don't know. It brings to mind stuff from some of the Buddhist stuff, like my hero Milarepa, who went through an inordinate amount of struggle, and you know, all of that helped him liberate himself. The struggle going through it is see the inaneness of it, the futility, you know,
Yeah.
of it, and then at a certain, and you see it the way that same futility affects all beings, and your compassion grows, you know, and your understanding of yourself and your ability, you know, to expand and contract, to be flexible, to not be confined to, you know, a thought program, you know,
Yeah.
but to be in our fullness by just allowing what we truly are to come through, in the same way that fasting heals the body by just you just stop eating. When we stop projecting and the blind striving, then we can just rest in that state of intrinsic awareness, you know, and
Yeah.
it's blissful just to be conscious and aware, you know. It's what we're all striving for in terms of, like, you know, the feeling state, but it's always there in the background, you know. So that's the interesting thing to me, is how do we transmute and transform that so that is center, you know, that's the steady flow.
Right.
But family, I hate to say it because this is such a rad conversation. I always love connecting with you guys. You're the best. Thank you for joining tonight. I gotta go make some food, but
All
thank
right.
you everyone. Sending much love and prana to everyone out there.
Bless
Love your new hat. Welcome back, Jerome.
Bless.
Thank you guys. Love you.
Love you. Bye.
Take care.
Sorry, that was a long one. All right. Peace, family.